Alright, my friends, let's clean up this area a little bit. This is just my garage. This is where I park my car. I don't have a shop that's a separate area for my projects, and to me, the cleanliness doesn't need to be perfect. I don't care if it's perfect. That's the idea behind my channel. This is not a tutorial or a how-to video. I am a novice woodworker with minimal tools to make things the way a professional, or even someone richer than I, would be able to make. So let's just sweep this up a little bit. It is my goal to have a shop separate from where I park my vehicles. So for now, you get my garage and you get to deal with it because I get to deal with it. Thanks for watching. Okay, let's just take these boards out. This is just pine. I don't have money for any of that expensive good stuff. What I need to determine is which of these is going to be the top. I think that I laid them out, so I'm going to have this one be the top. I have to worry about these, okay? But it's cheap pine, and I don't care. For the most part, I can sand it out, but I'm looking for the least amount of knots, and it's hard to find ones that do not have any knots without buying the more expensive pine, and I'm not going to do that. So I got that one under there and that one. That's the only part I've got to worry about, but I'm not going to be using the full length of this board. So I think that this will end up being cut off anyway, and I won't have to worry about it. Okay, let me see if I can describe what I'm going to be building here. This is going to be a mantle for my parents. And if you were to look at it straight from the top, this goes on their fireplace. So it's going to look a little bit like this. And like this. Okay. And theirs is kind of ugly, in my opinion. The board looks a little bit like this, where it's here, and this is fireplace, fireplace, upside down. Here's the top, and it curves right here. And there's a board that's like that. There's trim that looks a little bit like this, and it looks dated and weird. And then brick there, there. And I think this is kind of a ugly, dated. We recently remodeled some of their kitchen to have this nice butcher block and painted the cabinets, and this now does not match with what they have. So what I'm going to try and build with this wood, something that kind of looks a little bit like a beam, and all I'm going to do is basically chop this off here so that it will fit. So it's actually cutting some of this off here. Boom, 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 that's gone. This stuff off here, kind of on the edge. And this new mantle that I'm going to be creating is just going to attach here onto this existing mantle that's cut. And I'm going to be building something that looks a little bit like this. Onto the existing mantle. Accounting also for these notches right here. I cannot remove that brick. I do not want to remove that brick. I'm not going to worry about removing this trim. I don't want to remove that trim. I did already take measurements previously for this. Hang on, let me rewrite this. So this is going to be 79.5 inches on the inside. This is 12 inches, this side's 12 inches. And that's really all I need to worry about as far as like how to make it fit, other than these notches here on the brick, which those will be cut out on the underside, kind of to go here, and this will just be gone. Another one here, and this will just be gone, right? And so then when I put it in, it's just gonna slide right in, and then I'm just going to use probably some brad nails or some staples or something and go along on the top, and then it's going to be screwed in or fastened. And that's why I'm not planning on removing this if I don't have to, because then I know that this is already secure. It's plenty secure. So this just needs to go over it, and then I'm going to use something to attach to that. Boom, 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 boom. And it's gonna look perfect and wonderful. You like my workbench? Boom. I was using this to make some wonderful cuts. I didn't end up ruining this metal thing, but trying to take it off. So all I'm going to be doing right now, because all I have time for since it's winter and I don't get very much daylight anymore, I'm going to be taking one of these boards, going to be cutting it to the correct thickness for the front face of this beam. Some of these pieces also I'm going to be cutting a 45-degree angle miter thing. I don't know, woodworker. I just like to build things, whatever this actually looks like. Okay, so now it's at 45-degree angle. I'm going to take this scrap piece, just kind of put it flush up against the blade, I guess. Raise the blade, and maybe I need that scrap piece of wood again. So you don't want it resting up against that. Yes, I have it unplugged. Let's put the thing here. That's a good idea. It looks like on this, right, there's a couple of these holes, which I can just put a screw through this side into the board. If I put it on these holes, that way this one doesn't get in the way of, I don't want metal in the blade, so let's do that. I decided I need to go with something a little bit thicker, just because I only have these 3-inch screws. I don't have anything else, because I just don't. Fine. You get to see kind of what I'm doing right now. Should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then screw it in from this side, screw in these two boards together. That should be plenty for all I need. I think this one's just about perfect for what I need, because I don't want it to be totally exactly right. Right, you can kind of see that little bit of a ridge, which is totally fine, because right here, I didn't notice that. This is the next part. So this is going to go on the side. I've got these two cut right here. This one's going to be the top because they're probably the cleanest boards. So I need to cut at least one more. I'll do this one for the sides. Okay, this one turned out pretty good. It's not. All right, my friends. It's another day, because this is definitely a multi-day project for me. Multi-day, I can speak. I gotta grab this board. This is going to be the front face, and I'm going to just strip this down to about 6 inches, and then I end up doing the bevel thing. Miter. You can see that I'm wearing a glove here. It is mostly just to help it so the wood will slide across my hand instead of giving me dumb splinters. So now I'm just going to measure out the 6 inches this way and then strip it down. Side note, this process has made quite a few of these. I don't actually plan on throwing any of them away. These little sticks are actually perfect for garden. A little bit of a stake, so I just cut them down to size. Anyway, just a side note for using your scraps. All right, let's get these cut down. Look at that. Perfect scrap. Just feel like I should probably check. Make sure it's still 6 inches. I think we're good. Yeah. I just had to cut off this little piece right here on this right here because I noticed that on the last cut, this is actually starting to bow out. Now that I've cut them down to 6 inches, I've got to now do that miter cut. Chamfer thing. Now whenever I do these 45-degree cuts, I always start with a piece of scrap because I'm not very good at this stuff, you know? So I'm going to do that right here before I do it on my project stuff. Good idea. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Doesn't have to be perfect. It took a little bit of a chip away from here, but that's just my error, not the saw. Good. Now let's do it on the real board. Look at that. You see how this is kind of coming together now? These are actually the last bits of cuts that I'm going to be doing here in my shop because I have my miter saw, but it does not have the sliding ability. It cuts up to like 5, maybe 5.5 inches okay, but since these ones are 6 inches, it's going to be like just enough, and I worry that it will ruin it unintentionally. Well, this is for my parents, and I know that they have a good miter saw, and that's what I'll be doing the other 45-degree cuts for each of the corners. They'll be put together like this, you know, so see you there. Here's the mantle I'm going to be working on. This is my parents' fireplace. A couple things. This used to be tan brick. I did a whitewash. This video wasn't about doing the whitewash. I don't know what I was doing, but I think it turned out okay. I did have to clean up a few spots because whitewash is actually really messy. Anyone who's considering it, I don't know if they ever talk about that in any other videos, but it's messy. I did have to clean up around the edges. Second thing off camera, because I had to use my brother's help to hold these. I did already cut a couple of these boards for some of the angles, made sure that they fit, but you can see how they're angled on both sides. They do fit. Next steps. Taking this existing mantle, I'm going to use this as a way to attach the new mantle. I guess it sticks out farther from the fireplace than what I need, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it down so that it's about 6 inches or so from the brick. That will allow me about a 1/2 inch gap underneath it, I guess inside of it. Since this is already attached to the brick, I'm not going to worry about trying to figure out how to attach this new thing to the brick. It doesn't make sense to do that. I'm going to attach it right into this, and it should be sturdy enough. I don't see why not. And that way when I do it, I know it's safe. I just need to cut it down so that way it'll actually fit. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the existing mantle. Then next, I'm going to be cutting the side pieces here that are just some shorter pieces of the pine. And as long as they match, we're good to go. And I'm going to start assembling some of this stuff. Okay. Aha. It's still attached right along the edge here, but I did bring my oscillating tool. That works too. Nice. All you have to do is just move your camera, I guess. All right. Ta-da! Interesting. I don't know if you can really tell. Right, this is the last piece I cut off. This was my mark. Take off 3 inches on the side there. There's already a gap right in there. I didn't do that. Oh. It's because there's a 45. I'm smart, guys. Alright, on this cut, I know that I'm not going to be able to make it all the way to the wall, just because it doesn't work that way. I could vacuum it up. That is why I brought my oscillating tool, so I'm just going to use that to make the remainder of the cut. There's caulk along the wall. I'm going to have to deal with that as well. Alright, as you can see, it did leave it kind of dusty down here, which of course I anticipated. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this all up. Nobody will ever even know what happened. They won't even notice a difference, probably. Here's a look at how it is when it's cut. One thing I didn't account for was actually the edge on the wall. You can see how there's no paint. Now, I've got to make the top and the bottom for the sides of the fireplace because I still want it to wrap around, right? One side, on the left side against the fireplace, it measures 12 inches. On the right side of the fireplace, on the brick, measures 12 and an eighth. It's probably it's closer to 12 and an eighth. I'm sure like many of you, we get to work with wonderful framing of this house. My parents are the second owners of this house. The original people that lived here built the house. They cut a lot of corners. We get to deal with that. But an eighth of an inch is literally not that much play, really, but I just need to make sure I account for that. I'm going to do my best to do this by myself because I'm the only one here. But I'm going to take this board here, and on this side I've already marked an angle, and from here I marked where the fireplace goes, because on this side it's already beveled, whatever you call it. So I'm going to take it and mark it from this side, the flat side, and mark 12 inches here, cut off the first piece, then I will mark another piece that's going to be 12 and an eighth, and I'm going to mark that 12 and an eighth because it seems close, but I can always cut off a little bit more. Can't always add stuff on without making it look awful. And yeah, let's go from there. Okay, so now we have to make the other side pieces. Just have to think about this. So if I do a 12-inch piece and a 12 and an eighth inch piece, Big boo-boo. Hang on, I just have to picture this for a sec, guys. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let's do our 12-inch piece first. Yep, it's at 12. So let's square it off. That's 12. Okay, and we'll go just outside the pencil line. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, this one's 12. All right, I have to think about this again. That way. 12 and an eighth. I think I did them wrong, because I do need to be measuring from this way. This is 12 and an eighth, so I can just cut this one down. This will become my new 12, because this is the bottom. So it needs to sit like this. That means that this angle would be the left side. All right, pencil. Inch. Luckily, I have some board left. I always plan for extra. Okay, and this will be the bottom. We're good. Now that is correct. Now I'm going to lay these out on the ground because it helps me visualize it. Next piece. Okay, I have to really think about this. Okay. Wall, fireplace here. So now I need to measure 12 and an eighth. And then 45 degrees from there. Guys, I'm basically like a rocket scientist. Like, I don't even know if you understand the capacity in which I can do things. Okay, 45 degrees. Let's do it. Counterbalance. I'm going to line this up so that I'm not quite cutting the pencil. Let's go there. I don't know if I like this piece. There's a couple of spots right here. I might be able to sand it out and it'll be okay. They're not super deep, but it looks like something during a shipping process, maybe. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see this. Yeah, I don't love it. I'm going to keep it for now, and if I have some extra wood, I might redo it because I don't love it. And let's go make sure this one fits. No. Oh, it fits. How do you like my counterbalance? I think it should be fine. Along that edge. Here goes nothing. Yeah, my counterbalance worked. Nice. Of course it did. I'm a genius. I'm only working with one piece at a time. Go right outside. There goes nothing. Let's go make sure it fits, and then I'll clean it up. Now, I have this piece here. I've made sure it fits. This one on the right, that works there. So let's get it nice and snug. And I grab this piece down here, and I put it here. Just dry fit it, and oh baby, fits there. And yeah, I'm gonna have to probably do some scribing along this wall. This is gonna be fun, guys. This project makes me so nervous. I don't know why this makes me so nervous. I've never done the scribing before, and so that's what makes me nervous. Luckily, pine's not crazy expensive, and so I guess if all else fails, I can just get another board. But I've never done this before, so I'm going to take this washer, and I'm going to use my pencil. I think that this washer is just too big, but it's the only washer I could find because this isn't my house, and I don't want to go buy a washer, mostly because I don't have my car. I'm trapped here. This washer is about 1/4 inch from it, and it's too big, but what I'm going to have to do is just kind of just make sure I take into account that yes, it is going to be that distance away, and when I start to kind of sand away the wood or chunk away the wood, however I decide to do it, still follow the line, do a lot of dry fitting, just make sure it fits really well. And it's might take me a second, but oh well, here goes nothing. Yeah, definitely see some of those spots. Yep, right. That's fine. And I think once I fix that, it'll make this miter, because there's a gap big enough for that pencil to fit in. I know it's just a dry fit, but I think that it'll make that fit a lot better too. Okay, make sure you guys can see this too. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, here's the top. This goes here. This one. Yes. Okay. All right. Cut the face. My Joker. Okay, my mic decided to stop working here, and I didn't know. Lovely. Here I've laid down some of the pieces of wood once I have the top and the bottom pieces all cut out. Like I said, it helps me visualize it. Once I've laid them out to see, I measured the longer side of the top edge that is mitered so I can get the length of the front face I need to cut. Guys, I'm not very good about planning ahead to know lengths like this. I can draw it on a paper, but I never know measurements of each piece. I can only imagine the finished product. I had a problem with the length of this board hitting the garage door. I didn't want to move the whole workbench to accommodate for a couple cuts, so I decided to deal with the cold and open the garage door. How do you like my counterweights, eh? It's how you work with not having an additional helper. I also remember a little thing from what my brother and also YouTube University taught me, especially with pine. It's a good idea to square your end first, especially these boards that have a very rough end grain. And I just decided to clean up that edge before doing my official measurement. I knew I wouldn't need the whole board anyway. I needed to measure to approximately 97 1/4 boinky boinks. I don't remember the correct length. I'm sure I'll say it again later. You can see this is the piece from the end. I mean, I'm a visual learner, so I like to see why you do the things that you do. Look at that guy talking to himself. After realizing my microphone wasn't working, I didn't talk as much in these videos, as you can see. Here I am marking each side so I can remember how long I need to cut the side pieces. The long side of each edge was approximately 19 1/4 inches, and on the inside on the fireplace edge it was supposed to measure 12 inches. Here it is all laid out. Guys, doesn't this look so good? Here I am, taking a little break. This is my weightlifting complex. This is a snatch. Bring it down to my shoulders. This is a snatch balance. Nice. Then I do another full snatch. Nothing crazy today. This is just 135 pounds. NBD. Anyway, I don't have my microphone, so you get to deal with this.
It's too cold. I don't like it. This is mine.
Here I'm attempting to use a jigsaw to cut the scribe line on the top.
What? Those are mine.
These are mine.
Those are yours.
These are mine.
Oh my gosh.
My brother's supposed to be helping me sand a few sample pieces I can try a stain color.
You gonna make sure that my pallet breaker gets back safely?
Got you. Don't even sweat.
I'm low-key sweating.
Your husband's sweating.
Ian's farting like crazy.
Oh, I wonder what that's like.
Here I am chugging along, but look at that interaction with my brother and his wife. Get a room. I got as close as I could with the jigsaw and then sanded closer to the line, and off camera I fitted it many times to make sure it fits. Enter brother number 2. I'll be honest, I had never used a biscuit joiner before, and I hadn't really looked at it much, but I knew that he had used it many times before, so I asked for some help. I probably could have figured it out, but it was good to have the extra hands in this glue up because it would have taken me about 10 hours to get this all lined up. He's a lot more careful than I am, so it was helpful that he sped up this process with the extra set of hands, but he also slowed me down so I could get it as best as I could. Because if I didn't, I probably would have messed it up. I apologize about the camera angles.
I was like, oh, now it looks tight.
This part took a lot of my brain power. And I was hardly thinking about the camera, and I was thinking more about just getting it done.
There.
It's close enough. So behind me, there, I've got only a couple corners that I can glue in at the time just because of what I have. So I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to get these corners done over there. I can do things backwards. Anyway. Okay, so now is the next day. I am going to take off the clamps here, see how they glued up. Then now I need to do the other corner. That's all I can do today. I won't be able to fully assemble it like I need to. Even when I do, I am going to need an extra hand or an extra person to help hold it just because it is so long. I won't be able to do it, and I don't have the tools to clamp it all together myself. So let's unclamp it and let's get those other corners biscuited, then glued together. Call it a day. In the middle of me editing this video, my kid comes in while I'm using Adobe Premiere, not sponsored obviously, and says that I should use CapCut. I look at her and I said, this is a good program to use. And she just says, you mean old? As I glue up these other corners, you can't see it in the video, but this has the longer piece on the left side hanging way off the end. Not my favorite. You know, there's still a gap. That's all right. That can be fixed in post-production. You know what I'm saying? Move this. Let's see how this backside turned out. Well, looks like the backside turned out pretty good. A little bit of fresh glue still that needs to cure, but that should be fine as long as it holds. It does. So let's look at the other one. Nice. This looks okay. I mean, this can be fixed post-production again. Kind of filled with some glue and some sawdust to kind of match the color. It'll end up looking okay. I can fix it. Now time for the glue up. Guys, I'm new to this. I didn't have my mic again during these clips. I brought it home to charge it, and then I forgot to bring it back.
So here I am doing the same thing as the other sides by just making sure that at least the outside corner matches up. The inside, to me anyway, is less important corner to match up because it will theoretically be less visible in the finished product, or so I assume. And you know what happens when you assume, right? Comment below what you think about when you assume.
That was exciting, huh? I'm gonna do my best. I got a little bit of sawdust here from my orbital sander, and I'm gonna just stick some glue in the joint and then kind of rub that in a little bit. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna do it on both sides. So
What I meant to say in the last clip was that I took this wood dust from my orbital sander, which means that I have a pretty fine dust in this, and I'm going to mix it in with some glue to fill in the crack without having too much shrinkage from the glue. In case you didn't know though, this much I do know. Glue by itself will shrink quite a bit when it's not clamped in between pieces of wood. Although I don't think this was the best way to mix the glue in the wood dust, and I learned that after the fact. So I kind of just stared at this part for a while thinking, why did I do it that way?
maybe it'll do. Maybe it won't.
Alright, other side. I tried a little bit different way to approach this just because it was cold.
And one thing, if I can find it, I might try. I'll tell my dad. I'm just gonna try and heat up this glue a bit. Just a little bit. Come over here, dust. Just a little bit. Okay, that's probably good. Not me using my dad's propane torch. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Pressy, tappy, tappy, tappy. One thing you can definitely tell about me is that I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. All right, that's it for today. That's about all I can do. Once those glue, I can then grab these side parts that are over here. These are the side and the front face. This will be the face of the beam. So now once these are glued up all the way on both sides tomorrow, which is when my parents come back, then I can glue this together, and I am going to be using a brad nailer right there to ching ching ching, make sure it stays solid. And I apologize about the camera angles. It's on my cell phone. I don't have anything else. Not a videographer or a filmographer. Anyway, signing out for the day. All right, I lied. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm back. We're gonna assemble it.
Yeah, he's doing the fun part.
Alright, this is my second brother again. He's the second oldest. Thankfully, he's a night owl. I am not. But I did have his help, which I definitely needed. And we were jamming out to Sonic Adventure Battle 2 music. So, I don't know if you ever have, but man, this stuff is bomb. To get even coverage with glue, we use silicone brushes just to cover whatever area was needed to be glued. And two hands made this a lot better in the freezing cold garage.
I'll hang out the edge.
Wipey. Pressy. Jinky. This is us in real time, in case you couldn't tell. We are just that good. This is why people don't work with pine. Look at this freaking warped edge.
Still just like.
Clampy, clampy.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
Just start down here. Dang it. It's okay, this is the bottom. It's also the side that everyone's gonna see the most.
My phone is basically full on storage, and it wouldn't let me record any more videos. I think I ended up recording about 4 hours of footage. I'll learn better next time. You can see it. We have this clamped together. This is why woodworkers always say they can never have enough clamps. The next day I came back off camera and I cut off those notches to accommodate for the bricks that stick out under the original mantle, so it'll slide right over them. Here are some pictures of the halfway finished product that I was attempting to show my parents before they got home, or I guess when they got home. I look forward to having you for part 2, friends.